Hello, friends. Welcome to the chapter 3 of Principles of Event Management, that is, conduct of an event. Whenever any event has to be conducted, it majorly requires two things. One is the finance, and one more is nothing but creativity or an idea. A very good idea can be a very good event. So, in the more sense, you should have a very pre planned structure. It's nothing but you should have a long term vision and you should have a proper target. So, to conduct an event, you require all the major things coming to finance and you coming to marketing, and you should have a security, and you should have a overall traffic and traffic sense, and you should have a hazard management, and more and all you require the overall event management team to work in a very good manner. So whenever this event management team, if they are working in a very good manner, including the event director, event manager, and finally the securities, and finally what and all the overall hazard management team, the security management team, convenience team. So finally, if everything comes into picture, then it will be a very good event. So successfully you can conduct a part of the event which has been taken place. So come to the overall introduction part. So it requires a baggage of skills. So the exciting business will always make sure that the event has been conducted in a very better manner. So why this event has to be conducted is, so whenever you conduct any event, it should be remembered for many number of days or many number of years. So everyone should make sure that this is the type of event where everyone should conduct. So that is how the creativity should matter, and that is how the event has to be conducted. So whenever if you have a passionate people around you, so then you can conduct these type of events. It's just all about we do it because we get it and we love it. So it's just a job where if all these things is there with an passionate person, then you can go with an a very better event. So, preparing of a planning schedule is one of the most important things in the conduct of an event. What is that all about, sir? So, a very important schedule. So, how you schedule, make sure how an overall event is. So, the following schedule will tell you how is your overall strategic plan. So, this strategic planning cycle will give you a overall brief structure on how to conduct an event and how will be the overall set procedure. So in this strategic planning cycle, so you should be having a mission. Mission is all about a very important source of a plan or a very important source of idea, which is called an short term goal. So vision is all about a long term goal. So a mission of a strategic planning cycle is all about goals, desired outcome, strategies, measures and target, and the results. So the first term, the goals, what it will tell is where do you want to go and what you want to achieve. So goals will give you a very brief idea and a brief structure of where you want to go and what you are doing about. So what type of event you are doing, and finally how you have planned to do the event. That is, if plan 1 is not working out properly, what are the different type of plans you are ready to go ahead. So these are the goals which they have given. So goal is like a route map what they have given for the overall planning structure. And after when goal is being properly known to a person, so the second one is the desired outcome. So desired outcome is all about, so whenever an event has been conducted, the outcome will be two things. So if the event goes on in a very good manner, so the outcome will be very good and it is very structured. So if the event has some any problems, so the finally the overall event will have a problem and the outcome will not be much good. So here always the desired outcomes will be very important. Why? Because any event which has been conducted by a company, so it makes sure that the outcome is very important. So outcome should always be in a positive manner. So if it wants to be in a positive manner, they should make sure what is their goal and why we have to get that goal, why we have to get that outcome, and finally what are the steps to go for the desired outcomes. So after getting the desired outcomes, so for that you have to plan and beautiful strategies. So if you have a strategy for a type of event what you are conducting, then you can go with an positive outcome. So this strategies is all about as I was speaking about what is the planning schedule, so in the same way you should be having a strategy schedule. So what is your strategy on the type of event what you are conducting? So if there is any problem, so what is the different plan structure you are being done with? So these are the different type of plans and strategies you should be. So next thing is the measures and targets. So who is your target customer? So what is this event targeting about? So you should be having a pre-planned structure of the overall measures and targets. So if everything is good, finally the results will be very much improved. So after this all this process of strategic planning cycle, the results will be very important, and finally that results will be in a very positive way. So to do this event you require all type of people. So first one, promoters. So without promoters or without marketing, the event will not be successful. So this promotion can be done in many number of ways. So the one most good way is the social media. So the corporate brand will make sure that the promotion is going on in a very well manner, and finally a newspaper promotion can be given. So promoters are the people who are promoting the event. So the next one is law. Law is very important. So any permissions or any licenses if you want to take, so you want to go through law itself. So always government will act as a main place, and finally law will act as a main place to any of the events. Any permissions or any procedures which has to be followed, it should be according to the rules of the government and the rules of the law. So once it is followed according to that, then overall permission is set, and finally you can go with some of the hazard analysis. Sir, what is this all about, hazard analysis? Hazard analysis is all about, so there may be some minute problems which may occur at a duration. So there may be some of the major problems which may occur. So if there are any minute problems which is been occurring, so you should be very much pre-planned, and you should have a very good strategic cycle to make sure to come out within a minutes, and you should go with the new plan within a minute. So if it is just like an example of a tsunami, which is the most hazardous way, so you should be very careful. These type of events should not be conducted, and this you can't make sure this type of hazardous will come. So always be prepared for what type of hazard will come. So whenever this hazard will come, so make sure this emergency should be taken care in a very good manner, and always have a pre-planned structure. Then so once you have these type of hazards, so normally event management companies, or some of always the companies will be doing with many number of events. So whenever they are conducting many number of events, they make sure that so whenever we are conducting this type of event, so we should have this contingency planning. So this contingency planning, what it tells is, so whatever has been done for the first time, so if there is any wrong which has been done for the first time, so it should be corrected for the next event when they are conducting. So their aim is to make sure to minimize the problems, or to minimize the crisis which has been done before, or which has been occurred before. So this contingency planning will help you to make sure what to evaluate all the hazards, to evaluate all the contingencies which may come ahead, and to make sure to go on an event in a very successful manner. That means a revalidate process will be conducted in the overall contingency planning, and finally they will come to one pre-planned event, that is nothing but a overall good event management with a good result. So then you can find many number of events, so that it may be an indoor event or it may be an outdoor event, there may be a stage, and finally if you are doing an event you require everything. So here you can see in a picture that there is a temporary seating which has been arranged for a persons, which has been arranged for the guests to just sit and have a look over it. So finally there is a temporary structure which has been arranged only for the event, and there is a stage which has been done only for the type of event. So whenever it is an outdoor event, there should be a type of designs which should be done to make sure that the guest will be very happy in the outdoor event, and the people who are entering into the event will make sure that this event is a very good event. So whenever it is an indoor event, they will make sure that the overall stage will be decorated in a very great manner. So finally, when there are people, so if there is any emergency which has to be taken place, there should always be two important things, that is entrance and exit. So there should be a very big boards and finally a very good dashboards which will make sure that so there should be an exit alarm. If an people who is been entered in the same place, there should be exit rooms where if there is any problem or fire occurrence is fire is being taken place, there should be a very good exit place where they have to make sure they should go from a place. So here there are some of the pictures where you can see how a temporary structure is being taken place, and finally what are the different stages and what are the different outdoor and indoor events, how it should be done. So whenever any type of event is conducted, we can't tell that there will be a protester, and finally we can't say everyone is supporting our event. So there will be some type of barriers which may take place. So finally we should have security management in a very good manner to take care of the spectator management or to take care of the crowd control. So whenever a chief guest is been arriving, there will be some problem where crowd can't be controlled. So whenever it is for parking, or whenever it is for washrooms, or whenever it is for food, so there will be a lot of problems in crowd control. So this should be identified before only, and a particular place has to be done for it, and particularly the people of security management should take care everything is going in an order and everything should be following according to the way what has been discussed. So if there is any barriers which has been taking place, so it should be according to the law of enforcement agencies. So according to the crowd control, according to the management what they have decided earlier, so they have to control the crowd in a very good manner, and they have to make sure that even the protesters should not do any problem to the event, and finally the crowd has to be controlled in a very good manner. After that, one important thing is traffic and the transportation. So this parking is one of the most important thing in many number of events. So parking has to be given a very wide parking, and finally there should be some of the main important things that you have to take care, that is one of the waste management, and one more is environmental hazards. So this requires a lot of permission from the law, and this has to be taken from the government itself. So any event which has been conducted requires these type of essential things, that is portable toilet pump out and a garbage removal, water tankers, car parking and bike parking, and an ambulance, and law enforcement vehicles, fire vehicles, EMS vehicles, public works and utility vehicles, and other essential service vehicles. Because any of the problems which is been occurring, or any safety which is being given, so finally all this access should be given for a person who is been attending for that event. So once it is been done in a very proper way, so finally this traffic and transportation, and finally the vehicle access and the health and then fire vehicles, everything should be properly arranged. So this requires one of the most important and the good event management company. So finally you have to maintain a traffic monitoring, so it has to be informed to the law and it has to be informed to the police earlier, and you have to make sure that health and the traffic has to be monitored in a very good manner. So there should be boards where kids are not supposed to go, and finally there should be some dashboards where signage should be there where men has to go and where women has to go, and finally there should be a very important traffic monitoring which has to be done by the security management people, and this has to be informed to the police prior itself whenever an event has been conducted. So this health promotion is very important. Why? Because any organizer who is been conducting the event, so they should make sure a very good food has been provided, or any food which has been provided, it should be in a very healthy condition. So this food has to be checked. And finally, which is good for an person, so which is restricted, so only that food has to be given. So something which is not restricted should not be given. So always a very good food. This is something called a health promotion also. So finally, organizers should always make sure a good amount of food, and finally a good amount of crowd control is done whenever this food is being served. So they should take care of what has been given and what is the overall proportion ratio which has been given for that overall food items. So waste management is one of the most important things, so they should take care of this waste management. If any food is being remained after the event, so they have to take care of that waste management and all other strategies. So there can be a food waste, empty containers, hazardous waste, clinical waste, recycling. So these are some of the most important wastages which should be taken care in a very good manner. So there may be some problems which may occur, so for that a medical provision has to be there. So these are some of the 10 steps for organizing events. So after having all this, finally you should be having a look over of all these steps. One is you should be having an objectives, that is why you are organizing the event and what participants should learn from this event. So this is why the objectives are very much required for an event. So after objectives, it is content. Make sure your objectives are reflect in the content, that is what you are doing in the event is very important. Next is methodology, how you are planning to engage your audience, because audience will not be happy if you are not giving a very good content. So you should make sure how is your planning going on. Next is resources. You have a checklist and you make sure every work is done in a very proper way. So for this, an event director and event manager will make sure whether this checklist is been in a, going in a very proper order. Next is impact. So always there should be a long lasting impact. So this long term effect will help you to build a very good network to the overall future projects. So if your impact is good on the event, so if you have a very good impact after your event, so then you will have a very good network, and finally you may get more and more number of events. Then skills. So make sure you select a very good trainers. So if you select a very good trainers and an organizers, so it will be very helpful for you, because skillful people will help you to make sure that event is been conducted in a right manner. So finally, preparation. So after having a skilled person and a very good planning strategy, so finally the content is very much important, because no one should get hurt from the content what you are been informing. So always the preparation is very important for your workshop or your facilitation or the sessions. Finally, the communication. So be transparent in what you are speaking and make sure your communication is being understood to each and every person. And finally, communicate in a very good manner, so that will make sure that your communication will help you to have a very good engage between the peoples. Finally, feedback. So ensure that learning process is not at all will it will not stop in a certain manner, so it will continue for year together. So whenever, if you are doing the next event, so you require something called feedback. So after each and every event, so make sure you take a feedback with each and everyone. So this feedback will help you to make sure to grow with a very good positive vibes. So these are some of the most important steps which you should make in organizing the events. So after all this, you should have a floor plan. So this floor plan should make sure that what is the seating arrangement and the overall plan of the event, which should give a table name, and which should tell which is the dining hall, and which should give an overall detailed entire structure of the event what you are conducting. So finally, the last thing is checklist and the budget. So checklist is all about you should tick and tell whether it is being done correct. So a final assessment which is to be done for the overall event. So for this you require the help of these people. Event director is the person who will take care of the overall event, and you require a program coordinator who will make sure about entries, ceremonies, publishing, and the computer scorers. So a venue coordinator who will make sure a venue booking, a setup team, and a risk management team, and the signage boards, and the environmental control. So our equipment coordinator will make sure that the sound equipment maintenance, and the overall transportation will be taken care. Promotion coordinator will make sure the media license people and the publicity and the final overall marketing and the advertising is been taken care in a proper order. So official coordinator will make sure the referees and finally umpires. So hospitality coordinator will have a sponsor license and the catering. So these hospitality coordinator play a very important role to make sure that a better care is taken for all. So finally you require merchandising coordinator, so which make sure sales team and the outfitting of the volunteers. So your volunteers and finally some of the other security management team is very important for all of events which has to be conducted. So in this overall event management coordination, you require some of the sponsors to do this event in a very good manner. And finally you require a very good budget and a finance. A checklist has to be taken care properly. So in this lesson, in the overall conduct of the event, you should be knowing what is an event, and finally why event has to be conducted. Whenever an event has to be conducted, what are the permissions, procedures, and how it has to be conducted, what is the entry and the exit stages, how it has to be done, and the objectives and the criterias what has to be followed. And finally you should be knowing who are the people who are helping, that is the event director and the structure of the whole team. So this is what you will learn in the overall conduct of the event. So thank you, happy learning.